Hi everyone, this is Katie McCarville, and I'm going to be telling you about my applied project, which was focused on integrating bibliotherapy into literature circle discussions. So a little bit of background. I am a fourth grade teacher in Pinellas County, which is in St. Petersburg, Florida. This is my fifth year teaching fourth grade students, and it is my third year working with gifted students specifically. And this year, I am working at a Center for Gifted Studies, so all of my students are full-time gifted fourth graders. I have a love of literature circles that was really instilled in me by a professor when I was in my undergraduate program. I have incorporated literature circles previously with my students, so that played into my choice to focus on literature circles for this training. Furthermore, I have really developed an interest in affective development through this program. I've learned about how important it is and different strategies for integrating effective development into student learning. So I wanted to find a way to marry my love of literature circles and my interest in affective development. And then finally, this project really allowed me to push myself out of my comfort zone. Most of my experience has been doing projects with my own students in my own classroom. But for this project, I actually created a professional training or professional development training curriculum that I am going to be implementing at my school, hopefully next fall. But I also created the training so that others at different schools or in different counties or even in different states could implement with their own teachers to spread information and knowledge about how to incorporate affective development and those bibliotherapy themes into reading um, content through literature circles. So the rationale, I sort of touched on this, but my personal interest is in affective development, and I really wanted to incorporate affective themes into content area teaching. My school does have a gifted block, which is an hour every day, and one day a week we do focus on affective development, but I wanted to focus more on how to incorporate this affective development into our content area teaching, which is happening all day. The magnet program where I'm teaching right now has a goal of using affective strategies with gifted students, so this fit right into the goals of my school and also meeting those affective needs of students. And another piece of the magnet program where I'm teaching right now, which is Midtown Academy, is that all of the teachers are learning about gifted learners and how to meet their needs, not just the gifted educators. So I thought this would be a great way to expand all of the teachers' knowledge about gifted strategies and gifted topics that we want to be working on with our students. Here are the three research questions that really guided my development of this professional development training. The first is, what does training on literature circles to build advanced student social emotional skills look like? So how is that going to look for me? Number two is, can teacher training for affective skill development be effectively infused within reading instruction for advanced learners? And then lastly, how can current teacher training or professional development models on literature circles be adapted and developed for affective development training with third through fifth grade teachers of advanced learners? So looking at the NAGC CEC standards, I felt that this professional development curriculum really hit on a few of them. So the first is standard one, which is learner development and individual learning differences. Which really focuses on understanding the variations in learning and development in cognitive and affective areas. And I felt that the substandard 1.2 was very appropriate for the training that I was working on. And that says, beginning gifted education professionals use understanding of development and individual differences to respond to the needs of individuals with gifts and talents. And I really feel that once participants go through this training program, they will be able to do that. The second standard that I believe is met through this training program is being able to create safe, inclusive, and culturally responsive learning environments. And I think that through incorporating these affective themes into literature circles, teachers are able to create an environment where students can talk about different perspectives, talk about their different emotions and feelings and interpretations of the text. Furthermore, this professional development training is increasing the curricular content knowledge of the teachers who are participating. They use their knowledge of general and specialized curricula to advance the learning of their students. And this is true because students or participants are learning about literature circles and how those can be effective with learners, and then also about affective development and how to incorporate that into your teaching. And then finally, I really think that this professional training curriculum hits hard on standard number 5, which is instructional planning and strategies. So this is where education professionals select, adapt, and use a repertoire of evidence-based instructional strategies. And I think that this is very true for participants of this training program because they're learning about evidence-based, differentiated, accelerated practices that they can use with their gifted students. They're collaborating with their professional colleagues and other educators to use those evidence-based strategies effectively, and then they are specifically using these instructional strategies to focus on that effective development of their students. So the way I designed this professional development training is in 15 one-hour sessions. The reason I decided to split up the trainings over the course of a semester and to just do 1-hour sessions each week is because we currently have professional development trainings every Wednesday morning from 7:30 to 8:30. And I thought that this would be a great professional development opportunity to provide to our teachers at that time. And the project was designed to disseminate current research on affective development, literature circles, and gifted needs. I also really wanted to give participants hands-on practice with all of these different topics so they had a personal connection. Also, it is designed to provide opportunities for teachers to take what they've learned in a session, go back, implement that with students, and then come back the next week and reflect on their practice and look at what went well, what they'd like to improve on. And then I have also integrated or interspersed flexible work sessions throughout the training so that teachers can plan and work on taking what we're using and learning about in the actual sessions. They can work on translating that into practice for their own students. So the context for this program is at my school where I currently work, which is Midtown Academy, which is a magnet center for cultural arts and gifted studies. It's in Pinellas County, which is in St. Petersburg, Florida. It is a Title I school with a school rating of a C. 98% of our students come from low socioeconomic families or family structures, and we have 331 students enrolled currently. The participants and audience for this program was really 3rd through 5th grade teachers, just because the content and using literature circles is really more designed for intermediate grades, although it could probably be adjusted for lower grades if teachers were interested in making those adjustments. It is for all teachers, teachers who teach in the Center for Gifted Studies and Cultural Arts Magnets, just because I do believe that this training could be beneficial for all teachers, even those who aren't teaching gifted students. And specifically, it is designed to start with teachers at Midtown Academy. So in the 15 sessions, there are quite a variety of activities that we're going to be working on. In session 1, it's really more of an overview, taking a pre-assessment, looking at our goals for the training. In sessions 2 through 6, it'll be focusing on literature circles. So looking at what they are, looking at research on literature circles, actually doing a hands-on literature circle activity in one of the sessions, and then doing a literature circle activity with your own students, and then coming back and reflecting on that. Sessions 7 and 8 are looking at the research on affective development, the affective needs of gifted students, and sort of our own personal connection with affective development. Sessions 9 through 11 are looking at bibliotherapy, what it is, what the research on bibliotherapy is, and then actually in practicing with a bibliotherapy activity, and then planning, implementing, and reflecting on a bibliotherapy lesson with students. Session 12 is really focused on now sort of combining those literature circles, affective development, and bibliotherapy themes all together. And session 13 and 14 are where teams will be working on planning with their own grade level texts. They will be working on combining those literature circle, affective, and bibliotherapy themes to create activities for their own students. And then session 15 will be wrapping everything up by reviewing the goals and standards and with a post assessment. The products I generated through this applied project was really everything needed for this professional development training. I created slides for all 15 sessions. Each slide or each session contained slides focusing on the goals for that session, the different activities, all of the directions, outlining what participants are doing. I also developed session handouts, note sheets, reflection papers, activity papers, also pulling in research papers that participants will be reading through and then sharing what they find, and then also pulling any sort of materials that need to be pulled for implementation. So the project use and follow-up, sort of my next steps are to review this training with my administration, the gifted specialist at my school, and then the gifted coordinator for my county. I'd like to get the training approved from the district and then establish a schedule and get that approved. I'm hoping that we'll be able to implement this next fall. Then the next step would be to let coworkers know about it and begin the first round of training. Down the road, I would really like to get feedback from participants and be able to tweak my training based on that feedback just to make it as effective and engaging as possible. I'd also like to offer this training at other schools in the county by training other teachers who can become facilitators. The way that I've designed all of the materials is that they're easily accessible in a Google Drive. So the materials are already in a space where I could easily share those with others. So just taking the time to train other teachers who can become facilitators and then expand this training to other schools and potentially even other districts in our state. I would like to collect data on the effectiveness of the training, looking at the data of the pre-assessment versus the post-assessment, but also doing follow-up interviews with participants to see how they are implementing what they've learned with their students. And then I think that it's really important to share findings with others. So whether that's talking with other people in my district or presenting at the Florida Gifted Conference or the National Gifted Conference, I think it would be a great way to share my experience with this curriculum with others. And that is all. Thanks for listening.